Okay, so let's just let everybody get back in. And all right, so now we're going to take a look at other tenses with the passive voice. All right, so we did the future simple and then the will going to be future tense. And now we're going to go and do past progressive, I think. Past perfect and past perfect continuous. All right. Let's do that. And then I think that's going to be it for passive voice with the tenses. And then tomorrow we can do passive voice with modals. And then that's pretty much what passive voice is, unit 23. Okay, so tomorrow we'll do passive voice with modals, and then Thursday we will do written work class, and we will do you guys will work on your unit 23 if you don't have it already. Well, a lot of you are new, so you guys can start doing some of the exercises of passive voice with the tenses, right? All right. So anyway, let's take a look at the present, the past perfect, and the past perfect continuous. All right, so let's go to the past perfect first. Okay, so I mean, everything is the same. Active voice does the action, passive voice receives the action. Just looking at it with the different tenses. So this is how we use it with the past perfect and the passive voice. And it's affirmative form or it's question form. Object plus had been plus the verb in the past participle, right? And then for the question, had goes before the object. So it's had I been, had they been, had you been, has she been, right? Had she been, had they been, right? So had plus object plus been and the verb in the past participle form. So pretty easy, just have to remember how to use the past perfect, had plus been, right? And then the verb, and that's the only thing that changes. The verb is got to be in the past participle. All right, so we use the past perfect passive. Something had been done by someone before sometime in the past, right? So something had been done by someone before sometime in the past, all right? Before sometime in the past. All right, let's look at the examples. Let's have you guys practice your reading. Hold on 1 second. All right, so let's go with Santiago. Santiago, can you read the first examples, please? Here where I have the cursor. Read the active and then the passive.
The brave men had defended the city. The city had been defended by the brave men.
Okay, good, very good. So everybody, the brave men, the subject, they're doing the action, had defended the city, right? They did the action, the brave men. That's active voice. Every time the subject or the object does the action, right? And then with the passive voice, the city becomes the subject and receives the action, right? By the brave men in this case. So the city, and we use the past, I think a past participle form of the verb, defended, right? So the city had been defended. Oops, sorry. The city had been defended by the brave men, right? Passive voice. Okay. All right. All right, the next example. Let's go with Ludwig. Can you read the next example, please? Active and passive.
Okay, teacher. The little girl had broken the window. The window had been broken by the little girl.
Good. The little girl is doing the action, right? Passive voice. She had broken the window, right? And in the passive voice, the window becomes the subject. It's receiving the action by the little girl who's breaking it, right? So the window had been broken by the little girl, all right? Past perfect, passive, all right? The next examples, let's go with Daniela. Can you read the examples?
Had Dorothy solved the problem? Had the problems been solved by Dorothy?
Hey, very good. Good job, right? So active voice had Dorothy solved the problems, right? This is talking about something that's being done by someone before sometime in the past. That's why it's everything like had Dorothy solved the problems. Dorothy is doing the action, solving the problems, active voice. Passive voice, the problems become the subject, receive the action. Had the problems been solved by Dorothy? Question mark, right? Had the problems been solved by Dorothy? Right? Passive voice. All right, and the next example, it says, let's go with Andrew. Can you read the next example, please?
Okay, active. Thus, prisoners have robbed 5 banks. Passive. 5 banks has been robbed by those prisoners.
Okay, good. Very good. So everybody gets it. Those prisoners are doing the action. They had robbed 5 banks, past active voice. And the passive of that same sentence is the banks become the subject. They received the action. They're going to be robbed. They had been robbed by the prisoners, right? So that's why it's passive. 5 banks had been robbed, right? Using the past participle form of the verb. 5 banks had been robbed by those prisoners. All right, so past perfect plus the verb in the past participle form. All right, so let's do the quick exercise real quick. Number 1, it says Dr. Richard had saved Sylvia's life. Sylvia's life had been saved by Dr. Richard. All right, so let's see. Jorge, do number 2.
The Americans had discovered another planet. Another planet had been
Very good.
discovered.
Another planet had been discovered.
By the Americans.
Discovered. Another planet had been discovered
By the Americans.
right? By the Americans. All right, number 3, hospital staff hadn't accepted the injured men. Let's see. Rodrigo, do number 3.
Okay, teacher. Number 3. Hospital staff hadn't accepted the injured man. And the passive voice is the injured man
Good.
hadn't been.
The injured man. Oh, sorry. Arriba, right? Good. The injured man hadn't been, because está negativo, right?
Yes, hadn't been accepted by the hospital staff.
Very good. The injured man hadn't been accepted by the hospital staff. All right, good. All right, so we don't have that much time left in the class, so we'll stop here. And tomorrow we'll continue seeing that example, and then we'll see the modals, all right, with the passive voice. Okay, so thank you very much, everybody, for being here, for participating. Welcome to the new classmates.
Thank you, teacher.
Don't forget your units. Do your well, this week we'll have written work class day, so you guys can start there. Maybe the new ones with a little bit of 23. All right, so thank you, everybody. Have a good night. See you tomorrow.
Goodbye,
Thanks,
teacher.
bye.
See you tomorrow.
Bye, you
Bye,
guys.
Mr.
Thank
Bye,
you.
teacher.
Bye, you guys. Thank you.
Teacher,
Bye, you guys. Thank you. See you tomorrow.